infiltrate peaceful groups that were a threat and are a threat to the establishment, because, as you know, as much of this audience knows, your audience is probably growing, but more new people sort of awakening up or coming of age, trying to piece
let's
these
talk
things
about
together.
it when we come back. Media analyst Mark Dice is our guest. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com.
Before you slip into unconsciousness, I'd like to have another kiss.
Alex Jones here, back live. Tomorrow night, we'll have the Infowars Nightly News crew giving live, continued coverage, Mystery Science Theater style, talking over the liar-in-chief Obama, or during the long fake applauses, they'll be adding analysis, commentary, then a summary of the lies, fraud, deception, and basically enemy attack, disinformation. That's tomorrow night. Coverage starts at 7, 8 p.m. They will then give live commentary over the address and then give comments after, so that we can have articles written that night and videos breaking down the different lies that are involved. I don't want to dominate the process. I was thinking about coming in after the State of the Union, after Jakari Jackson, David Knight, Leanne McAdoo give commentary during it, and then coming in at the end and doing 30 minutes breakdown at the end of it. Or maybe I should do it at the first. I just like to step aside and let them grow, which they've really been doing. David Knight does a wonderful job when he hosts the show. So that's coming up. Going back to Mark Dice. Mark, I mean, Martin Luther King said, don't judge people on their color, judge them on what they stand for. I don't care what color you are if I like your music. I don't care what color you are if I like your restaurant. I'm going to come eat there. I mean, that's what free market's really all about. Free market of ideas, free market of choice. That's real diversity, is that you're not hung up on what color somebody is. So, you got a friend who's whatever, go see a movie together or whatever. But now political correctness is just the opposite. It's all about what color you are and how you're a special group, you're protected, the opposite of what Martin Luther King said. And now we know why the FBI left Malcolm X alone when he was saying kill everybody. But as soon as he said no, all races should work together, that's when he got killed. And it really shows the system wants us to divide and conquer. So spend a few minutes on COINTELPRO.
Yeah, I mean, the general public would think this is a conspiracy theory, but I mean, we know it's been declassified, that the FBI had and of course continues to have, despite their claims that they ended the program and apologized for it. But they were infiltrating and harassing, committing all sorts of illegal crimes, and to discredit, disrupt, and neutralize peaceful groups, particularly Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement, or anybody who was or continues to be.
Because he didn't want to burn down the country. Because he didn't want to. But meanwhile, violent groups are being supported, and meanwhile, George Soros is pushing violence and rioting again.
Yeah, we even saw, J. Edgar Hoover, the infamous father of the FBI, who contained an entire series of file cabinets of dirt on politicians so he could blackmail them into doing his bidding. He was obviously against any public figure, any musician. John Lennon, he wanted to have him deported because he was such a powerful anti-war spokesman and face against the Vietnam War. Again, that was an establishment program.
And they finally shut him down, just like the Argentinian prosecutor, hours before he was going to present damning evidence in Parliament, shot in the head. The government says it was a suicide. Or just breaking an Infowars.com, the maker of, he was making anti-globalist, anti-establishment movie, Gray State, director found dead in apparent murder-suicide with his wife and child, was working on project envisioning future federal martial law crackdown. How suspicious is that?
Well, I mean, we know there's a series of Operation false flag attacks. We know, and I don't even like to talk about some of the actual details of some of their programs, like the Devil's Breath, scopolamine. I mean, they literally have a powder that they can just blow into somebody's face, and they'll turn into a appearing conscious zombie that will literally do anything that they tell them to.
Let's talk about that when we come back in 1 minute. I want to get you back for a full hour next week to talk about your new book, Inside the Illuminati. It's an excellent new book. We're not selling it. We need to get them in bulk and sell them at InfoWarsStore.com. You can find those at Amazon.com, his new book. Stay with us. Back in 60 seconds, and our other guest is coming on.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Scopolamine, devil's breath. They've done it in Latin America and Haiti for a long time. They'll spray the powder in your face. There's different types. One comes from a plant, others from the pufferfish. Paralyzes you. You think you're a zombie. They dig you up later, tell you that you're under their control. Then they give you the other drug to make you follow all their orders. People will kill their children when ordered to. They will go in and rob banks when they're told to. And that's just an ancient system they have. There's a lot of high-tech drugs and things that are perfect for mind control. Sirhan Sirhan was on these when he was the decoy in the shooting of RFK. But going back to Mark Dice, Mark, tell us about devil's breath and just an example of how easy it is to mind control someone.
Now, we know the power of suggestion. My video series demonstrates just from me repeatedly telling people to print their name and pointing on the crazy petitions to disrupt their thought patterns, to direct them to what I want them to do, using really a form of neurolinguistic programming in a sense. That is quite powerful in and of itself. But you add drugs into the mix. And this scopolamine, it's a very little-known drug, nicknamed the devil's breath, often rumored to just be a conspiracy theory again, but confirmed to be a real substance that, of course, the CIA has experimented and used in their now declassified MK Ultra mind control programs, which literally turns a person into a conscious zombie, where they, to an uninformed person, appear to be fully conscious and aware of themselves and their surroundings, but they are essentially turned into a hypnotic slave. And there's been many cases of individuals, not even associated with the government, just organized criminals or rogue criminal elements using scopolamine, devil's breath, to then get people to go and empty out their bank accounts, because they will walk into a bank after being told to and empty out their bank account or their ATM. Or they'll just let them into their house and tell them, just give them some of their jewels, etc. This is one of the most sophisticated, damaging types of a mind control drug, but you mix this in with sophisticated hypnotic techniques, trained neurolinguistic programmers, and these individuals, that the intelligence agencies, can literally almost turn somebody into a mind-controlled slave and have them do whatever it is they want to. The television, of course, is really one of the biggest hypnotic tools, and we always talk about they control the media, or trying to get more detailed, the establishment. But as a media analyst, I mean, I can tell you that there's an entire division in the entertainment industry that literally works, and you know this, with the Department of Defense. There's on the CIA's website, there is a whole page about the Entertainment Liaison Office that works hand in hand with Hollywood to create these propaganda films, like this new #1 film, American Sniper, this new war propaganda infomercial about Chris Kyle, who, again, as you know, lost his libel suit, or Jesse Ventura won $1.8 million, confirming in a court that it fabricated his tale about allegedly punching out Jesse Ventura. So we're living in a mind control idiocracy wasteland where the public just does what the television tells them to. We have multiple cases of these strange experiments on the public, from Operation Midnight Climax, dosing people with LSD, to the scopolamine uses, to the use of hypnotic neurolinguistic programming. And so it's no wonder why society's falling apart.
And out of that research came Prozac and the rest of it, where you're not obviously on LSD, but it's in the same family. You're in a highly suggestible, mesmerized mind control state. And this is what's happening to society.
You can see in some of the previous Man on the Street petition series where I would ask these people to sign a petition to repeal the Bill of Rights. And sometimes they may start thinking about the issue before signing. And I just, using, again, just an easy form of neurolinguistic programming, the power of suggestion, interrupt their thought processes and just give them a command in a confident voice to tell them, just sign right here. I just need you to sign right here, in a commanding, confident voice. And I'm not even wearing a suit. I don't have a big backdrop with some theatrical music on a
That's
big
right, Mark. You're showing folks the man behind the curtain. Great job. Look forward to talking to you next week. God bless.
Thank you.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
There's a lot of breaking news at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. We're going to get to it about 45 after our guest leaves us. There's also a news story or two that I didn't get to Friday that I've got to get to. The minute I saw this Friday morning, Holder had made the announcement the night before, the Attorney General, who was supposed to be gone 6 months ago because of Fast and Furious and all his other activities, the IRS persecuting people. The minute I saw it on television while I was on the elliptical, I knew what the body would be because I just know their tactics. And sure enough, I went up, got the New York Times, and here it was. It's the feds that got asset forfeiture seizure laws passed federally to begin with that the states then copied 40 years ago. They run the war on drugs and also ship the drugs in on record. So I knew that the feds lobbied states to get rid of their asset forfeiture seizure systems in the last 10 years, showing cases of corrupt police robbing people in non-crime-related events as a pretext to get rid of the state programs so they could then have police seize stuff but go through the federal program to get up to 85% of the money back, thus federalizing police. And the goal is federalized police. So I'm showing you how my thought process works. So I waddle back from the gym, go pull up what the Attorney General actually did, what he said in his statement, because it's open-ended, and it was exactly what I thought. And I'm not bragging that I'm smart. I'm saying they follow a criminal program. It goes on to say that it has to be firearms or ammunition or explosives, or they won't accept it and then give them money back. The Corvettes or houses or whatever they're stealing. So now they're going to asset forfeiture seize for guns they claim are illegal. You know, if somebody in the house is a felon and they're your guns, they're going to say it's the felon's gun to take your house. I mean, this is their anti-gun initiative. They said they do it. So Holder to use asset forfeiture seizure to go after guns. That's the real headline. But then it goes on. Now, here's the real key. The new policy, notice it's a policy, not a law. It's how they interpret it. Just like the Justice Department told the IRS 5 years ago, if somebody makes more than 14 in a year, look it up, less than $1,000 deposits in their bank account, that's structuring, and you can take their bank account, no charges. In fact, show the New York Times on that, folks won't believe me. In fact, in some cases, as little as 10 deposits in a year, they would do it. Well, the woman for 40-something years owned a tiny diner, never made more than $1,000, deposited her money, paid tax on it. In America, that's not good enough because the policy says Obama has a policy to shut down power plants, a policy to teach your 5-year-old how to wear a dress, your 5-year-old boy. They have a policy to teach kids how to masturbate since, Jocelyn Elders. There's no law, it's a policy. Well, here it is. The new policy does not affect asset seizures made under joint state and federal operations, and local law enforcement may still seize property under state laws, which have been changed. So, see, when you know the law and you read this, it's a joke. So what they're saying is you got to be totally federalized or you can't have asset forfeiture seizure, or guns will let you, in our program, say it's okay to take somebody's house or car. Oh, you have an illegal gun? This receiver is improper under our regulations. We're going to take your car. It's like the cases in New York where the cops, it turned out, were running the hookers, but they were still taking people's cars that they were busting. They would just randomly bust people that had nice cars because they wanted to take the car, too. It's like it's not enough you paid the cops for the hooker they were pimping. Now the cop gets your car, too. Remember the D.C. cops